Hey everybody, and welcome to Beyond Fit's Mom Tummy Rehab. It's Kate here, and I'm so excited to talk with everybody tonight. I wanted to let you know just really quickly that we have the slides for you to take notes on, and that link is in the chat. And also just to let you know that you can post any questions that you have in this chat box as well. So I'm really excited to talk tonight because this topic is truly one of probably the most frequently asked questions that I get from moms. And it's about how to lose baby weight and then how to take care of that tummy. So we are going to talk all about taking care of your tummy tonight, and I'm so excited for you to be here with me. So let's just jump right in and let's talk about what Mom Tummy Rehab is. So like I said, one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from moms is about how to lose the baby weight and how to fix their stomach. So whether it's from a pregnant mom who's worried about how to lose the weight when the time comes postpartum, or it's a postpartum mom who is asking about how to lose the baby weight now that the time has come. Hey, Krista. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, ladies. It's a big question. So tonight's workshop is a little bit unique in that it's only a small group of you on the call, and you ladies are my Mom Tummy Rehab beta group. So the information I'm going to share with you tonight is explaining the program to you and just giving you a little bit more of the reason behind why we're doing what we're doing. And I'm so excited that you signed up to be part of this. It's really like a sneak peek of the program that we're going to be officially rolling out coming up here, but you get to go through it all ahead of time. So I'm so excited that you're here, and I can't wait to make progress with you. So we are going to get started talking about Beyond Fit's Mom Tummy Rehab. And as I mentioned, it's a question that almost all moms ask me at some time or another, so it's worth addressing. There's a ton of conflicting information out there about how to lose baby weight and how to tighten up and flatten your stomach. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you. The fitness industry is really not where it should be when it comes to resources for moms, specifically resources for moms who have issues in their tummy areas. So that's why you're here with me today. That's why we're doing this workshop, and that's why you're part of the program. It frustrates me so much that so many trainers fail to give moms the real life tools, and in this program we're talking about rehab, that they need to look good and to feel great after having a baby. This program is not just about flattening your stomach. It's also about feeling good, and some of the issues that we're going to talk about tonight really do not feel good, and they may be something that you're experiencing. So there's so much that can be said about how to flatten your stomach and how to get to your goal. I could probably write an entire book on it. So maybe one day when I have time, but if I had to narrow it down to the basics, because let's face it, you're a busy mom, just like me, you know, you don't have time to spend hours trying to figure out how to fix your stomach. Here's the basic. First, you have to start with healing, then training and nutrition. And then the missing piece of the puzzle after that for a lot of women who are trying to flatten their stomach or lose the baby weight is fixing their hormones. So the Beyond Fit Life program, it addresses the training and nutrition and the fat fighting hormones, as well as the Beyond Baby 12-week postpartum program. So those are covered. But we need to address the healing component, and that's what Mom Tummy Rehab is all about, okay? Unfortunately, what I've been noticing is that many moms miss this very important first step. Even years after having a baby, they still haven't taken the time that they need to properly heal and restore their core function. A lot happens to your body when you become pregnant, okay? Your body changes. Things move and they stretch and they expand to make room for that precious little bundle of joy, right? Yet so many experts, so many experts in the fitness industry, they're just so concerned with making money that they seem to ignore the facts that moms need more than a hardcore boot camp to get their bodies back. So I told you that I'm a little bit frustrated about this lack of information in the fitness industry. So I'm hoping to give you the information that you need, and together we can kind of rise up and we can make a change. So this is what you're going to learn about in the workshop. You're going to learn about what is the diastasis recti and 3 steps to fix it. We're also going to talk about the #1 problem that nobody talks about. Remember, I told you we're going to talk about some things that are a little uncomfortable. And then, of course, the real reason probably while you're here, the secret to getting a flat stomach fast, okay? So I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. As I mentioned, healing comes first. There are 3 steps to losing your baby weight and to getting your body back and to getting to that goal. Training and nutrition is very important. Fixing your fat fighting hormones is very important. Beyond Baby program and the Beyond Fit Life program are perfect for that. But if you've missed the first step, if you've missed that healing step, you need to come back. You need to start at step 1 and then continue to move forward, okay? The problem with the fitness industry is that so many trainers and so much of this kind of like hardcore training, it actually does more harm than good for many moms. So any mom of any age, no matter when you've had your baby, can benefit from mom tummy rehab. If you want to get a flat stomach, proper core training is absolutely a must, okay? It's absolutely a must. But before you can make the most of your fat loss, before you can make the most of your training, before you can make the most of your nutrition, before you can make the most of even fixing those fat fighting hormones, you have to take time to heal and to rebuild. And specifically, I'm thinking about regaining strength, correcting any pelvic floor issues, and then addressing the abdominal separation. The most overlooked issue in terms of core issues is that of the abdominal separation. That's the diastasis recti. So we're going to start here and we're going to talk about what it is and then 3 steps to fix it. So some degree of abdominal separation will always occur during pregnancy. This is because everyone's core muscles, they have to expand to make room for your baby to grow. So I don't care if you had your baby 20 years ago or if you had it yesterday, okay? When you were pregnant, your stomach, your core muscles had to expand to give your baby room to grow. In many cases, the separation is not going to be severe. And if you take proper precautions during pregnancy and then immediately postpartum, it'll heal naturally post-birth with no medical intervention. Okay, so it may heal without rehab or any form of exercise training at all. But in about 60% of pregnancies, the abdominal separation, the diastasis recti, we're going to call that the DR, it will be wider than 2 to 5 finger widths apart, and that's when you're considered to have DR from your pregnancy, okay? So the good news is that in most cases, the DR will heal naturally after you've had your baby. Like I said, if you take the right steps and do the correct exercises. But what I've seen in the fitness industry is that nobody is teaching women these exercises. Nobody is teaching this. I would hope that midwives and doctors and someone would step up, but they just haven't. So, hey, we'll do it, right? We'll take care of you. So the bad news, like I said, is that many people aren't aware of the correct exercises, and they don't teach the DR moms that they work with. They don't teach them these important steps. So I'll just tell you from personal experience, when I had Jackson, Beyond Fit Kid #1, I had no idea how to figure out if I had the DR. I had no idea how to test my abdominal separation, and nobody told me that there were everyday exercises and things in life that I should be avoiding, both while pregnant and then postpartum. So let's talk about what it is really quick. The diastasis recti is a separation of the rectus abdominis muscles, and many refer to these as the six-pack muscles, okay? So this separation occurs along the band of connective tissue that runs down the middle of the rectus abdominis muscles. So I want you to kind of like put your hand on your tummy, feel where your six-pack muscles would be, and then think about that connective tissue that runs down the middle. So this band is called the linea alba, but for the purposes tonight and in mom tummy rehab, we'll also be referring to it as the midline, okay? So during pregnancy, separation occurs down this midline as a result of the force of the uterus, and I want you to visualize your uterus then inside pushing against the wall of your abdomen. And then it's also coupled with the influx of pregnancy hormones that actually soften the connective tissue, okay? So this abdominal separation can occur anytime in the last half of your pregnancy, but it most commonly occurs after pregnancy when the abdominal wall is lax and the thinner midline tissue, it just no longer provides adequate support for the torso and the internal organs. So it's most usually postpartum moms, whether, you know, like I said, moms of any ages, moms of babies to grandmas can experience this. A small amount of widening in the midline happens in all pregnancies, so that's normal. In fact, this abdominal separation occurs in a good majority of pregnancies. But some women's midlines, they don't close, okay? Some women's midlines spontaneously close to less than 2 finger widths after labor. And for many of these moms, the tissue remains too wide. And that's when we have the issue. So a midline separation of 2 to 5 finger widths is considered to be problematic. Pregnancy isn't the only cause of this abdominal separation, so I did want to mention that, and you'll see that on your screen. It can occur in both male and female children and adults with, typically these people have excessive abdominal visceral fat. Abdominal surgery can also create the separation in both men and women, especially when an incision is made through the midline. So predisposing factors to have this abdominal separation are obesity, if you've had multiple birth pregnancies, you had maybe a really big baby, or you already have abdominal wall laxity from a previous pregnancy or abdominal surgeries. So I had my 2 boys back to back and they were both big babies. So I had the diastasis recti, the abdominal separation after both. A lot of women that I've worked with on kind of the tummy rehab have had C-sections, so they've had abdominal surgery. And then also we've had a few who are really past the post-baby age, but they hold a lot of fat around their middle, and maybe they fall in the obese category or they're close, and that's causing intra-abdominal pressure on this midline, okay? So what's the problem with the separation? What's the problem? You know what it is now. Now let's talk about why we don't want it, aside from the given, okay? But what are some of the medical issues? The diastasis recti can lead to pelvic instability due to abdominal wall weakness. So this instability, it can create a number of problems. Some things that you'll see listed on the screen, and this list is so long, I mean, we could go over it all night. Abdominal discomfort with certain movements. Some women will notice pain when they roll over in bed, or they're getting in and out of bed, or they have trouble lifting heavy objects. Some women have an umbilical hernia. Some have pelvis pain. Some have lower back pain. So if you have that SI joint pain in your back, or low back pain, those are signs and kind of problems that they're symptoms of the problem of the abdominal separation. And then pelvic floor dysfunctions like urinary issues with leakage. Some women leak fecal matter, they have flatulence issues, pelvic organ prolapse. All of these things are symptoms of the problem of abdominal separation. And then this is probably what drew you into the program. The main symptom that women complain about is the appearance of their abdomen. The abdomen appearance changes. The skin may droop. In some patients, they may actually develop a hernia through the midline. Some moms continue to look like they're pregnant, and they complain like, I've had my baby's 3, why do I still look pregnant? Even years after having their baby. This abdominal separation changes the appearance of your abdomen, okay? So I told you when I had Jackson, Beyond Fit Kid number 1, I actually didn't know much about this topic. Thankfully, I was able to figure out how to test myself, and now I test all of my local clients. And after Warren, Beyond Fit Kid number 2, I knew what I should and shouldn't be doing in terms of getting my body back. But many moms are not so lucky. So for moms of any age, no matter when you've had a baby, it's never, never, never too late to start, okay? So that's what I want to get across as we move forward here. It's absolutely never too late to start. If you have not fixed your abdominal separation, now is the time. There are 3 main steps in fixing the diastasis recti for moms of any age, no matter when you had your baby. And that's what Mom Tummy Rehab is about, okay? So we're gonna go over those 3 steps, and then we will move on from there. So step number 1 is to reconnect. First, in order to fix your diastasis recti, you must know what your core is, and we'll talk about what your core is and signs of dysfunction a little bit later on. But then from there, we can begin rehab with exercises that are designed to reconnect nerve pathways and to teach you optimal muscular function of your deep core muscles. So the nervous system, along with the endocrine, which is your hormonal system, they work to control all the activities in the human body, okay? And so it does this by communicating messages between the brain and the body very quickly, super quick, using nerve impulses, and they're actually called action potentials. So you guys know I'm a big exercise physiology geek, okay? That's what I have my degree in. So I like to get really geeky. I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum, but it's really cool how many functions the nervous system has. But today we're gonna focus on one, and that is the nervous system's function of memory and learning. So you didn't learn to read or write overnight, did you? No. So a certain amount of repetition was required to learn and to memorize key functions like reading and writing and even walking, right? The same applies with exercise. And now with engaging your core as you're part of Mom Tummy Rehab and learning the right way to retrain and to rebuild those abdominal muscles. So new movements, especially complex ones, they take time for your nervous system to learn. If you've had 9 months or even more, some women years, without connecting with the nerve pathways of your abdominal muscles, then it's no wonder that your abs are loose, okay? So a tight, toned, defined stomach has muscles that have been trained to be tight, toned, and defined. You get what I'm saying, right? A certain amount of repetition will need to occur before your nervous system gets it right. So the first step is to reconnect with these nerve pathways, okay? This rehab is for moms, like I said, of any age. No matter when you've had the baby, core strength can always be improved. But before we begin strengthening your core, we must first spend some time to reconnect nerve pathways to the muscles involved. Step number 2 is to retrain your core. So after you've reconnected nerve pathways, the next step in order to fix the diastasis recti and to take your flat tummy rehab to the next level is to focus on specific exercises designed to isolate and retrain your deep core muscles and restore their proper function. Okay, so this is the next step in strengthening your core and fixing your DR. Now, let me just tell you a little bit of research. Research shows that the more time you spend training your core or any muscle to contract, the better you will be at isolating this muscle and the faster you will integrate this muscle into functional tasks. So our goal is to engage and isolate some of the muscles that may have gone months or even years without being trained. And so because you first spent time reconnecting your core, then the second step is to take some time to train those muscles to contract optimally. When you retrain your deep core muscles, they act as a natural corset. Like, who doesn't want that, right? Even without trying, you'll begin to notice your stomach looking flatter, your waist looking slimmer, simply by retraining these muscles. Now, I did just want to mention, because there's I've noticed some hype around waist trainers, and I did want to give a bit of caution here. Waist training, aka sucking in your stomach with, whatever garment or binder or, whatever they're trying to sell you, it's not the same as retraining. Okay, so belly binding, waist training, etc., it does not help to heal the diastasis recti. All it's doing, and this is very important, ladies, I don't want you to miss this. All it's doing is shifting pressure and mass either upwards or downwards. So if you suck it in, and you can do this while you're listening, if you suck it all in hard, okay, or you use a corset or, waist, whatever they're selling you to help you do so, and your waist gets narrower, it will stay narrow for as long as you hold your breath, right? Or have your belly binder on or whatever. But all of the stuff that was hanging out in the space where you're kind of sucking in, it has to go somewhere. So it'll go upwards, pushing on your diaphragm, or it'll go downwards, pushing on your pelvic floor. I like to talk to ladies who ask me about this I like to have them imagine a tube of toothpaste. If you squeeze in the middle, okay, if you squeeze a tube of toothpaste in the middle, the contents of the middle of the tube haven't disappeared. Toothpaste hasn't just like magically gone away, right? It's just moved. So you're the tube of toothpaste. If you're squeezing in the middle, you're going to move something upwards or downwards, right? So sucking in your breath or holding your breath while you're pulling your stomach in hard, it's not training your muscles. It's shifting pressure and displacing mass. So this actually creates further excessive intra-abdominal pressure, and it worsens an already weakened pelvic floor for many women, and it puts you at risk of pelvic organ prolapse, and it does absolutely nothing in terms of real engagement or retraining of your core. Okay? Wrapping it up tight, pulling the two sides together, it's not going to make them heal or stay there. Please, please, please do not fall prey to using a wrap or a splint as a substitute for actually engaging the right muscles, for reconnecting and retraining and then rebuilding the right muscles. Otherwise, you're going to have to wear that anytime, you want to have your stomach that way. I think there's a better way. And that's why you're here, because you know that there's a better way, and I'm helping you work through that. So I'm so excited about this program. I'm so excited about your progress. We've gone through step 1 and step 2. So the last is step 3. And step 3 is to rebuild your core. This is the final step in fixing the diastasis recti, and that is to rebuild your core. After you've reconnected the nerve pathways and you've retrained your muscles to contract properly, then you can complete your mom tummy rehab with exercises that are designed to restore and to rebuild your core strength. Okay, so rebuilding your core strength is the last step in flattening your stomach once and for all. But here's what I have to tell you. Studies have repeatedly shown that isolated abdominal work may not be the most effective way to build core strength. So this is something that you really need to understand. For example, a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared isolation core exercises and integrative core exercises, okay? So they were comparing these exercises, the isolation core exercises like crunches, traditional crunches, those types of things, and the rehab type exercises that we're doing through this program. And they found time and time again that the more effective way to build core strength was with the integrative core exercises. So that's what you're learning. The reason being that many of the isolation exercises actually cause extra intra-abdominal pressure. So intra-abdominal pressure is why your stomach muscles push out. It's why you get the diastasis recti, the hernia, the prolapse, and a tummy that just simply doesn't look like how you want it to look. You need to reverse this pressure to get a tummy that looks and feels the way you want it to for the long term. So this is about, like we said, reconnecting, retraining, and then the final step is rebuilding. It's about alignment, building strength, and learning to use your entire core system correctly. So you have to address the cause and not just the symptoms. And that is what this last step, rebuilding, is all about. You want to avoid any exercise that causes intra-abdominal pressure or coning of your abs. In addition, you need to strengthen and you need to rebuild your transverse abdominis. Those are the deep core muscles, in a way that's going to draw your rectus abdominis muscle. Remember, we talked about that being your six-pack muscle, or the outermost muscle. That's the one that's separated. You need to strengthen your transverse abdominis muscles in a way that's going to draw that six-pack muscle back together, pulling your belly back in and making it flatter and stronger. So a strong core means a flatter tummy with tone and definition. And that's why you're here. That's what most moms want, but they have no idea how to get there. So I'm so excited to be bringing you the answer, the secret. The Mom Tummy Rehab Program is going to get you there. I guarantee. I'm so excited. So those are the 3 steps, and those are the things that you'll be working throughout the program. And I saw, let's see, Kim just said her baby was huge, resulting in a C-section, so she was stretched to full capacity. Yes. So big babies will definitely stretch you. Hey, Lacey. Hey, Krista. Yes, Rhonda. So if you don't have that muscle memory, that's going to be your issue, you know. You guys know Rhonda. She's a Beyond Fit sister, the coolest grandma ever. And I'm so excited you're part of the program, Rhonda, because Kim, we can't hear your kids screaming. Hopefully you can't hear mine screaming. Rhonda, I'm so excited you're here because you're a perfect example of someone who, you know, I'm not calling you old, but let's call you wiser. Okay, you're not older, you're wiser. At that time, there was none of this information, probably after you had your babies, right? So there's not much out for moms now, but there's at least a little bit. And yeah, when you're 32 years postpartum, 32 years ago, they didn't know about a lot of this research. And so, you know, you spent all those years never taking the time to heal, never taking the time to reconnect, to retrain, and then to rebuild that core. So it's never too late. As I mentioned, yeah, Marianne's 4 babies definitely pulled them apart. It's never too late. A strong core that has gone through the steps of reconnecting and retraining and rebuilding is going to be a flatter stomach with more tone and more definition. So let's talk about the next section. for tonight, and then I'll save some more time for questions, okay? And of course, you can post any question. Yeah, and then Rhonda, you had that surgery, right? And so any abdominal surgery is going to increase your risk for the abdominal separation. Yeah. Jody, oh my gosh, your first baby was almost 9 pounds. Yeah, Jackson and Warren were both big babies, so I'm with you on that. Woo, it does a number to those stomachs. So Jody, I'm so glad you're here. And like I was telling Rhonda, 10 years, we will still get you there. It's never too late to start. So I'm so excited about doing this with everyone. Okay, so let's talk about the number one problem nobody talks about. First, I am going to give you a quick, and I know you guys, I don't want to bore you on this, but I do want you to just have a little bit of an anatomy lesson. Are you okay with that? Okay, so this is going to be the problem that nobody talks about. But before we talk about that problem, I need to teach you the anatomy of your core. Okay, so an anatomy lesson of your core. Our core, or the central portion of your body, excluding your arms and your legs and your head, it's made up of a number of muscles that help you maintain a correct posture. And it serves a variety of other roles, including, but not limited to, certainly, keeping your stomach flat and toned, okay? So your core is that central portion of your body, and this keeps your stomach flat and toned, your core. It's not just your stomach, but it's the muscles that surround those stomach muscles as well. So the core muscles include your six-pack muscles. Those are the rectus abdominis muscles. Your transverse abdominis muscles. Those are your deep core muscles that are often referred to as the TVA muscles. Your core also includes your obliques. That's the side part of your core. And your erectors that run on either side of your spine, okay? So you have quite a few muscles that work together, both front, back, and side, that make up your core. Your left and right rectus abdominis muscles are separated by the connective tissue known as your linea alba. So if someone has a defined six-pack, it's the linea alba that you see as the indent running down the middle via their belly button, okay? So during pregnancy, as your baby and your bump, right? As your baby grows, your rectus abdominis and linea alba are stretched to accommodate your growing baby. So in the majority of pregnancies, the internal abdominal pressure of your uterus presses against those rectus abdominis muscles, and the hormones in your system cause that connective tissue to loosen up, and it makes that gap between the right and left rectus abdominis, and it stretches the linea alba. So as we talked about, if you have abdominal separation, the gap between the left and right sides, the left and right rectus abdominis, that's more than 2 or 2.5 finger widths apart, then you would technically be considered to have the diastasis recti, which means separation. Diastasis means separation, and recti refers to your rectus abdominis muscles, okay? So the abdominal wall is composed of 4 main parts of muscle tissues, as a recap, each with right and left sides, okay? And these cover your abdominal cavity. This is your core. So these muscles are the rectus abdominis, the external and the internal obliques, the transverse abdominis, okay? So the rectus abdominis is named the six-pack muscle, like we said, and that runs vertically. And I just want you to really have a good picture in your mind of what we're doing when we're training your core, okay? This six-pack muscle runs vertically from your sternum to the pubic bone, okay? Its primary job is spine flexion, and particularly in the supine, so when you're laying down position, exercises like crunches flex the upper spine, and they move the rib cage closer to your pelvis. Pelvic tilts and reverse rolls and those types of things, they move the lower spine, which moves your pelvis closer to your rib cage. Moving your pelvis closer to your rib cage engages the rectus abdominis muscles, the six-pack muscles, okay? Now, the narrow band of connective tissue, remember we said that's the linea alba, that runs down your body's midline between the rectus abdominis muscles. During pregnancy, as we talked about, the linea alba widens and it becomes thinner in response to the hormones and the force of the expanding uterus. So this is a very important thing to note because you test not just the space, not just the gap between your muscles, but also the degree of strength that you feel in that connective tissue. So we do not want your connective tissue, your linea alba, to be thin and weak. We want it to be strong, okay? So this abdominal separation, like we've talked about, it's common. It's nothing to freak out about, but I just want you to understand what you're feeling for and then what we're working on through Mom Tummy Rehab to reconnect, to retrain, and to rebuild, okay? We're also working on reconnecting, retraining, and rebuilding the external and internal obliques. The external oblique is the most exterior layer of the abdominal wall, and it runs diagonally. So I want you to put your hands on your ribs. It runs diagonally from your ribs toward the midline, okay? The internal oblique lies just underneath the external oblique, and it has diagonal fibers that run in the opposite direction. So together, the internal and external obliques, they form an X shape across your torso, okay? So you can think of the top half of the X as the external obliques and the bottom half of the X as your internal obliques. So I want you to put your hands here as I'm talking, and I want you to feel the muscles that we're gonna be working. These are the muscles that you're gonna be reconnecting with, that you're gonna be retraining, and then that you're gonna be working on strengthening and rebuilding, okay? So these two muscles, they always work together, and their job is to perform lateral spine flexion, so that's side bends, and to assist in spine rotation, okay? So those are the obliques. Then the last muscle that we need to talk about is the transverse abdominis muscle, okay? And this is the deepest layer of the abdominal wall, and it's the most important in this Mom Tummy Rehab program. This is the transverse abdominis, and this is really gonna be our main focus. This muscle's fibers run across your abdomen, okay? And it performs abdominal compression, which actually draws your belly inward and narrows your waist. Pretty cool, right? So fitness trainers will refer to this as your body's internal girdle. So interestingly, unlike most skeletal muscles, the transverse abdominis muscle does not move bone. Okay, so it doesn't move like we talked about the spine flexion or the spinal twists. The transverse abdominal muscles, all it does is compress your belly and draw your belly inward, which is really pretty neat. It is like an internal splint when you contract the transverse abdominis muscles. It helps to close abdominal separation from the inside, and it's your body's most important core stabilizer. And it's really the one that's responsible most for reflattening the abdominal wall after pregnancy. So this muscle, we're gonna work all of the core muscles, but this is the one that you really need to focus on, okay? So now that you understand your core, let's talk about the number one problem that nobody talks about. And this is core and pelvic floor dysfunction. Ladies. Okay, so by now, you know how important a strong core is, right? It stabilizes your body and it powers absolutely everything you do. But here's the problem. If crunches and planks are all that you're doing for your core routine, then you're missing a big group of muscles that's critical to your performance, and that's critical to rebuilding and strengthening if you want a tight, toned core, okay? So we're talking about some of your deepest core muscles. And at the core of your core, specifically, we're talking about your pelvic floor. And in addition to the core muscles that we talked about, I did want to end with a note on pelvic floor because it is very important to understand. By now, you know, like I've talked about, you understand the importance of your core, but even still, this area gets overlooked way too often. So I want to tell you a story about a client that we're going to call Marie. After her first pregnancy, Marie gave birth to a beautiful 7-pound, 3-ounce baby boy. Okay. And it was just sweet. It was awesome. But more than 6 months after having left the hospital, postpartum, you know, all that, the baby was healthy and doing great, but the same could not be said for mama. Mentally, you know, she was full of joy. She loved being a mom, but physically, she just did not feel right. Okay. So for one thing, every time she laughed or coughed, she leaked urine. Her first attempt at going like for a run after birth, it ended in so much leakage that like she thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to run again. I mean, it was terrible. Her belly was just not looking right. It did not go back to the flat tummy that she had before she had her baby. And she was very frustrated. So before attempting the run, she had actually told her OBGYN about the leakage issue at her, you know how they do like that 6-week follow-up appointment. And her doctor's response was like, oh yeah, well, you just had a baby. You know, a little leaking is normal. Just do Kegels and you'll be fine. And, you know, the doctor cleared her for resuming sex and exercise. And this is actually the other reason that Marie wasn't feeling quite right. Before she and her husband had the baby, their sex life, and I know this is uncomfortable, we're going to go there. It was great. But now after the baby, it was very painful. So she had a couple more appointments with her doctor, and, you know, after being told that everything was fine, Marie, she figured out that she really had better start getting used to her new normal, because the doctor said she was fine, and, you know, she just chalked it up to like, well, I guess this is just, you know, what happens after you had a baby. Super painful sex, no more running. She had moderate incontinence like all day, laughing, sneezing, jumping, you know, all that. And she thought, oh, well, I guess it's just part of having kids. And then in addition to this, and this was kind of where we connected, her belly just never returned to its pre-baby state. It was loose and flabby, and she felt like she was still 6 months pregnant. And Marie is one of millions of moms who believe that these postpartum pelvic floor symptoms, they believe that they're normal. They believe that the post-baby mom tummy are just a part of a new normal that they have to learn with. And I just want to encourage you that this is not the case. If you have any of the following symptoms, you absolutely need to take time to restore your core, okay? So here are some things that show that in addition to maybe just straight up not liking the look of your tummy, here are some more symptoms that show that you need to be part of this rehab program. Urinary urgency, frequency, hesitancy, stopping and starting of urine stream, painful urination, incomplete emptying. All of those are signs that you need some rehab. Constipation, straining, pain with bowel movements, unexplained pain in the lower back. If you have any lower back pain or pain in your pelvic region or your genital area or even in the rectum, those are signs that you have some rehab work to do on your core. Pain during intercourse, during or after, is a symptom of pelvic floor dysfunction and a sign that you need to do some rehab on your core. And then also uncoordinated muscle contractions that can sometimes cause your pelvic floor to spasm. That's a sign as well. So the right types of exercises can easily treat many of these issues, and it can help even if years have gone by, okay? So like I've said, it doesn't matter how old you are, how old your baby is, even if years have gone by since a woman has given birth, the right types of exercises, the rehab exercises that you're going to be learning, they will help. The sad thing, though, is just that the majority of moms have no idea that these rehab exercises can help them. In fact, a lot of women don't even know what their pelvic floor is or what it does, let alone, know that it might be causing these problems. So I am so happy to share this with you because I believe that you're here for a reason and that you're ready to commit to this and that you're going to see some amazing results. I did want to just finish up, and then I did save some time for questions. If you are not part of the Beyond Baby program, let me just tell you for that, I'm trying to look through who else on the call. Most of you guys, because this is only open to Beyond Fit Life and Beyond Baby members, but I had a couple people who hadn't gone through the Beyond Baby system. So if you need reliable postpartum fat loss that's going to give you results, Beyond Baby is it, okay? So fat loss is the focus of Beyond Baby. You will see and feel results in just a few hours a week. It's amazing. You will love it. Do not waste any more time on yet another diet that's going to fail you, okay? If you need training and nutrition help, I'm here to help you unlock the breakthrough. Seriously, it will be a breakthrough solution that you've been looking for, okay? So you're in the right place. I've uploaded 12 weeks of my personal workouts and nutrition plans. These are the exact plans that I followed after I had Jackson and Warren both times, to teach you how busy moms just like you can burn fat and get your body back, okay? And it's all done in less than 3 hours per week. So Beyond Baby is there for you. I know we have our Beyond Fit Life members on, so you can keep up with those workouts, as well as following that monthly schedule. These rehab workouts are designed to fit with Beyond Baby or Beyond Fit Life workouts, okay? So they are not in something that needs to replace those workouts. They're designed to fit with those workouts. And this is really the secret to getting a flat tummy fast, okay? Most moms think that like hundreds of crunches are the secret to getting a flat stomach, but that's simply not the case. Reconnecting, retraining, and rebuilding your core will do so much more than crunches ever could in terms of giving you a flat tummy with tone and definition. And really, this is what most moms they want, right? They just don't know how to get there. So that's why I created Mom Tummy Rehab. It's time to flatten your stomach now, in as little as just a few weeks using this program, this Mom Tummy Rehab technique, okay? So no matter how tight you're keeping your nutrition, how low you've gotten your body fat, if you haven't taken time to retrain, reconnect, and rebuild your core, you'll never get the flat looking tummy that you desire, okay? So your core needs rehab. Whether you're recently postpartum or decades later, if you're a mom that fails to follow these steps, you'll always be struggling to get rid of your mom tummy. You absolutely need to reconnect, retrain, and rebuild your core, okay? So that's what this program addresses. It's a core program like none other, because we reconnect and we retrain and we rebuild from the deepest layer of your core to strengthen your abs for a flat and functional tummy. I am so glad you guys are here. Like a woohoo. Can I get a woohoo? Type woohoo in the chat if you are excited to get a flat and functional tummy. Yes, it's going to be such a great program. I'm so excited. I did save some time for questions. And I also just wanted to run you through really quickly some of the members portal. So I'm going to change my screen here. Let me see. Feel free to type any questions that you had. Yes, Rhonda, you can get a cramp like a Charlie horse in your oblique muscle. So you'll treat that just like you would any other cramp. Make sure you drink lots of water, rest, try to stretch and relax it, and it should go away. But it's actually a sign that you're doing some good work. So good. Sarah, woohoo. Kim, woohoo. Krista, woohoo. Okay, so let me get up the members portal. Did anybody have any questions? Did you have any questions about anything you saw in the members portal? You know we have the Facebook group, so at any time that you need me, I check into that group. I try to get in there like twice a day. So good, Rhonda. I hate that it hurts, but hurts so good, sister. That's good. That's great. That's a good sign that you're really making some good rehab progress. So you can post any questions that you have in the Facebook group, but let me just run you through. Let me see if I can do this. You guys know I'm a little tech challenged, but I think I should be able to get this up. Can you see that? Okay. So this is Mom Tummy Rehab. Woohoo! I'm so excited. And you guys are part of the beta program. So this has not released to the public yet. This is my present to you for being Beyond Fit Life VIPs, okay? So you get to see it before anybody else. And remember, you have to take pictures and measurements because that was our deal. You have to give me feedback in exchange for getting to see everything super early. But this is the program. This is the members portal. So I want you to watch the start here first. So this is just a quick video that I made for you to welcome you and to tell you kind of what to expect. So you'll see the welcome video here, and then you'll click next. And in this section, you'll find a checklist, okay? So on the checklist, you'll see the things you need to do to get started. First, you have to take your starting photos, and you absolutely, absolutely have to complete your core assessment and print your workout logs, okay? So here's the downloads. You'll complete your core assessment, and then you'll print your workout logs. Here's a note for you on taking your starting photos and what to do with those. At the end of your rehab, I want to celebrate with you. So I want you to email me your starting and your progress pics. Share them on social media. I would love to create the Beyond Fit army who just goes forth and spreads this information, because like we said, the fitness industry is really not where it should be. So we are going to go spread the word. Our hashtag is going to be Beyond Mom Tummy, okay? So use that hashtag, sisters. So after the checklist, you'll see a replay of this live training. So if you want to go back and listen, you can listen in there, and you'll see the slides, so you can download and print them if you haven't done that already. And then we start phase 1, which is so crazy. I'm so excited. Here's a Facebook group, so you can post any questions you have there or post them directly here in the comments. I monitor all of these comments personally myself as well. And then when you complete phase 1 is reconnect. That's week 1 through 4. Then you will move on to phase 2. Here's phase 1 workout log. Here's the workouts for you to download. And then here are the demos. So the rehab program is set up as a 5-5-5 structure. That means you have 5 exercises to do each day, 5 days a week for 5 minutes, okay? So you'll do each one of the exercises 1 minute, and that will be a 5-minute rehab workout total. Okay, and that's 5 days a week. And you'll see that when you print your workout log and your workouts, okay? So there's the demonstrations. And then the next phase will release when you've completed the first 4 weeks, okay? You also have some bonuses, so I do want to show you that. proper way to push a stroller. This is super important for any moms who still have babies that are in strollers. Posture and alignment is key, as you are going to learn in getting the best results from your rehab. So here are some stroller tips. And then here's a posture section as well. So I want you to take some time to look through this, see some of the most common postural issues. And then if you don't have a foam roller, get that. It'll help you as you rest and recover from your rehab exercises, and also will alleviate some muscle groups that are too tight. There's also a bonus section for those of you who are looking to still lose the baby weight. The first step, like I mentioned, is always reconnecting, retraining, and rebuilding your core. But if you need some more ideas past that, we do have a little section on training and on nutrition. And then, of course, on the missing piece of the puzzle, which is hormones. And I had to throw some realistic expectations in there for you too. So we have that, and then of what to avoid. These are things that you'll want to avoid from your workouts. So remember, in addition to your rehab exercises, you're still doing your normal Beyond Baby or Beyond Fit Life workouts. But these are the things that you'll avoid in those workouts if you notice any issues, okay? So if you're straining, if you leak urine, if you notice any like excessive pain, if you're unstable, if there's a bulging or coning in your abdomen. And then also I did make a note on getting out of bed and sneezing and coughing for women who have pelvic floor issues or who have a significant abdominal separation. That's really important. And then lastly, share your progress. One more note on sharing the awesome progress that you make with me. I'm so excited to have you guys go through this program. So if you have questions, let me know. Post in the Facebook group, or like I said, post below any of these pages, and I will monitor that for you. I think that's it. Anything I can do for you else tonight? I might be able to catch Jackson and Warren. Patrick's on daddy duty. You guys know I've done, so I did a Beyond Fit Life call with everybody last Tuesday. So 2 weeks in a row, I've been like, all right, see you guys. As soon as Patrick gets home from work, he works really long days, but then he has Fridays off, which is really cool. So he like literally just got home in time for me to start the call. Oh, Krista, you're so welcome. Thanks for being on. Okay, well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions tonight, I'm going to go and let you guys get back to your families and everything else that you have going on. Kim, you're welcome. You're welcome. And then what we'll do is we'll just check in the group, get an accountability partner, post your progress, your starting picks. And Sarah, I so appreciate you. Jody, okay, send me an email and I'll get you that link. Yes, I'm going to go put them to bed. Okay. And then post in the Facebook group and I'll answer any questions you have from there. Okay. Okay. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.